Okay. Thanks, John. Oh. No, super specific stuff. I will call the regular City of White Lakes Council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Heckman. Here. Darla.
Here.
Scott.
Here.
Graham. Here.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. One under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next up is the consent agenda. Has everybody had a chance to review that? Any sort of questions or comments? No. Okay, does would anybody like to make a motion to accept the consent agenda as is? So moved. Is there anybody that would like to second that?
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Guest and citizen forum, is there anybody that would like to get up and say anything?
Yeah, Bob, 307 Elmwood. Just a couple things. First one is a comment. I was at the meeting last Thursday. And when you guys are talking to each other, looking at each other, we're not hearing anything out here.
Okay.
And I think we have the same problem with this owl. I've tried watching council meetings on TV and it's, right now I have my hearing aids cranked up as loud as they possibly can go without having feedback, so. And the other one was just a question, the items that get put on the forum meetings at the end of each month,
Yeah,
how are those decided upon? Are they suggestions from the city or
yeah, if
from
anybody,
residents?
yeah, if anybody in the community would want something added to those, please, yeah, reach out to the city administrator and the, councilors, mayor.
Right, and the other thing, it's not limited to those. So those are just things that the council wants to hear about. So, you know, the next one, they want to hear about daycare and garbage bags or stickers. But if you have anything you want to talk about, you can bring that to those meetings.
So is it too late to put something on there for this month?
Oh, no, you
No.
can shoot me an email or give me a call, Dan.
Just, okay, I just would like to see a discussion on the city budget and spending controls. And would also ask to make sure that information gets put on the sign that so all the residents can be aware, not only, I know they're posted on the meeting agenda and they're sometimes posted in the shop, but I haven't seen them. But I know a big part of the candidate's proposal this year was getting the public involved and being open to the public. So I think the more ways we can do that, you're gonna get more people involved. So
For sure.
that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Dan.
And just to clarify, they don't have to be like agenda items for that public forum, correct? And the public could just stand up and talk about anything they want also. Okay.
Yeah, I guess it'd be good to advertise that too, if people see that out there and be more inclined to chat. Have we ever looked into any sort of, I don't know, microphones or anything like that up here?
So I know I've mentioned it a couple times. The owl has a really, really hard time picking up when more than one person is talking. So that's, you know, if the audience is talking to each other, or if, you know, Jill and Dave are talking while someone else is talking, the owl has a really hard time figuring out where to focus. We used to have the microphone, the whole set is actually still over there. We had the same complaints with that. And so even when we each wore microphones, we had the same complaints about people not being able to hear very well. I don't know if it's the acoustics in the room. I'm not entirely sure what all is involved, but I know that when we had channel 2 streaming it here, and since we moved to the Owl, I would say we get less complaints with the Owl, especially when there's not more than one conversation going on. But we've always had complaints about people being unable to hear. And so I don't know that there's anything we can do.
What does Aurora use? Because theirs are pretty clear.
They have individual microphones, the same kind we had before we went to the Owl, so.
I guess with the last meeting, that wasn't on the Owl, so I guess just for the counselors and mayor, if they're speaking, I suppose. Just making sure to project, just keeping in mind that we have folks that are either hard of hearing. But, yeah, thanks for bringing that up, and is there anybody else that would like to say anything that we did wrong? All right, reports from staff, city administrator Lanning.
Okay, I attended the youth activities recreation director, that's the joint position we have with the school and the other communities in the Joint Powers area. They are not increasing the contract that the cities pay for 2025, but they will be increasing their program fees. They've seen a really, really nice utilization of the activity programs that Mark puts on. He keeps a really great count, and if you have any ideas or thoughts, feel free to reach out to him. And they also run our lifeguard program, and so they are having difficulties finding lifeguards. So if you or anyone you know is interested in being a lifeguard at, there's 3 beaches, there's one here in Hoyt, there's one in Wabick, and then there's one out at Twin Lakes. And so it's a great opportunity to spend some time in the sun for the summer.
The lifeguards rotate among the 3 or?
It kind of depends, based on who has a car, because they're usually teenagers. And so you usually pair them up and they can go they can decide if they only want to stay in White Lakes or if they want to rotate.
Was that it? Thank you. Public Works Director Snapsinger.
Yeah, so Saturday we had a water main break, got that taken care of right away that day, went about as good as they can. So that was nice to see, about 2 feet of frost in the ground at this point, so still not too bad to deal with. Over at the arena project, the mechanical building out back is, the exterior construction of it is complete for the season. It's weather tight and they are heating it now to work inside on any of the mechanical stuff in ground. So that's what they'll be doing for the remainder of the winter season, is all inside work. They also, I believe they may have wrapped up today with the lighting on the inside of the building. And we are waiting for some hardware on the entrance doors that are getting replaced on the front. As soon as they have that hardware, the doors will be put in.
You're talking new doors on the arena or the building?
The arena, so the entrance where you come in from the parking lot has 6 doors currently. Those will be replaced in pairs of 2, so they'll only take 2 off at a time, replace them. That way, you know, people can still come and go and use the arena. The whole entrance and lobby won't be closed down. They'll do 2 at a time until
Are they
they're
doing both? The inner and outer doors can or? just-
only the outers.
Only the-
Yeah, the outers we've had some problem with. They are aluminum framework. And the aluminum has broken, been welded many times, bolted back together where it contacts the concrete on the ground. It's been broken there so many times, we've hammer drilled different holes and tried different brackets to hold it. And I think going through them, kids carrying hockey bags, I believe is the culprit. They always bang that center post on the door when they're going through them. So that main one that gets used the most is always the problematic one. One of the new doors, I believe, is a power sliding door that's 4 feet wide. So it's a wider door, people shouldn't bang into it as much. And for ADA compliance, instead of it swinging out, it'll be a sliding door.
Would it be worth looking at putting a bollard in front of that
post or in any problem areas?
Bollards as far as for like vehicles?
No, just steel pipe with a plastic cover.
Yeah, I know what bollards are, I just
Just,
don't like.
just to keep the kids from
Oh,
banging
from
in.
taking them. Possibly, like I say, I think what most arenas have done now is go to 4 foot wide doors.
Okay.
And that's what we're doing as well. Like I say, we don't seem to have the problem with all the other doors, it's the main one that everybody goes through, and that'll be now 4 foot wide. But yeah, that's not a bad idea. Anyway, and then, I've been working closely recently with the, Colony, Minnesota Power, and all the contractors that be involved with the Colony Road projects that will be taking place this year. As you can see, there's some, surveying being started, and some trees are marked that will be coming down, et cetera, so they are finalizing up all the plans and going to be putting that out for bid, I would assume within the next month.
All right, thank you, Public Utilities Director Barrett.
So far in utilities, Kenny touched on the water main break. We also had, service line leaking in the trailer park, got that resolved. There's 2 other ones I'm working with the trailer park owner, but you getting those resolved hopefully within the next week and a half. Working on end of year reporting, first quarter of the year is always rough, just a lot of time behind the computer, knocking out reports on what happened the previous year. And then we're starting to dismantle the old chemical tanks at the water plant in preparation for the new tanks coming in, hopefully early February. That should significantly drop our price of the chemical we feed once we can start getting it in a semi truckload as opposed to totes, what we're getting right now. So that's all I got.
With the new owner of the trailer park, were they pretty easy to work with, this new one, or?
Yeah, he had some difficulties. The first year he relocated, with the holidays going on and all that, trying to get a hold of someone to come out there and dig it. Took them longer than I would have liked, but it got done, and they're not trying to do it in-house. We have seen them try and do it in-house before, and it never ends well. In fact, one of the leaks we have right there, or there now, is one that they had done in-house years back, so. So it should go quick. Sure. And he's been good to work with.
Alrighty, thank you. EMS Director Olmsted?
I'm just here to answer any questions you may have on the 2024 ambulance report, if any of you have any questions on it.
I guess I didn't, we already.
It's shaping up to be another busy year. They're on their 53rd ambulance call this month.
If I didn't have any questions, did you all? Sherry?
No, I didn't have any questions.
Alrighty, thank you. And then lastly, City Attorney Garuki.
Thank you, Mayor. No, I don't have anything at this time.
Alright, thank you. Moving on to reports from elected officials.
I don't have anything to report tonight.
Great, Councilor Gerald.
I attended the East Range Public Safety Board meeting tonight with Becky, and the Assistant Chief Glowstad covered some information with the Axon agreement, covering what their cameras will do when they draw their taser or their firearm. The cameras will automatically turn on if they're not on, and apparently they're tied to the county system, so that if they're on a call with county or anybody else that has that brand equipment, everybody's camera on site will turn on the minute one of those items is pulled out. Yeah, they covered the school resource officer agreement that they have set up where they're not gonna be at the school full-time. Was it 4 hours a day, Becky?
Up to 3.
Up to 3 hours a day that they'll have an arrangement that they'll be at the school, plus they'll be there for football, basketball games and whatnot. That was about it too there, so.
Was there any sort of reasoning why they cut down on, I guess, hours? Something they have on there all the time? or-
Yes, we used to have a full-time SRO. The school is going through some budget difficulties, and so they were looking at places to cut. They have a dean of students who's done a really good job with disciplinary actions in the school, and so they felt that Having the day car, the daytime police officers stop in for a few hours a day was gonna be more than sufficient for what they needed. Obviously, if there's a 911 call or a serious issue, all the officers in the area will respond to the school, so that service will stay the same.
Sounds good. Counselor Ekman.
I just had a couple people reach out about Becky's job, like what it entails and stuff like that, so I think we have some people that are interested in the community.
Oh, for the vacant
Mhm.
city administrator.
Yeah.
All right, and we are having a special council meeting on Thursday to discuss that, so, yeah, thanks to them for reaching out to, Counselor Ekman. Yeah, I guess if there's anybody else that has any sort of interest, please reach out to any of us. But yeah, we can chat more about that on Thursday. Lastly, I would just like to thank the residents, for choosing me to be their mayor. I promise you that I will not take this position for granted and will be giving this my all. Public input and involvement is very important to me. If you ever have, any sort of ideas or questions, please reach out to me, or the counselors. We're always happy to help out. Our emails are on the city's website. I'm also going to be starting something new. I'll be having office hours every Monday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So if you'd like to meet in person to share any sort of ideas or ask questions, I will be available here at City Hall. We'll have to discuss a place to do that, whether that be going and sitting on the bean bags in the library just to chill out and talk, or an office. I was getting both, the bean bag first.
That's something, yeah, that's where I start, yeah.
You could twist my arm, we can do that too. But we have some offices here that we could, meet in. So yeah, if you have any questions in person, we can chat. Obviously, if City Hall is closed for a holiday, I won't be able to meet. Also, if I have any sort of appointments that I need to be at or different meetings, I won't be able to meet then either. Then regarding the counselors, I want to welcome back Counselor Grant and Counselor Drabla, as well as welcome our newest counselor, Counselor Ekman. I encourage and welcome them to speak up at meetings if they ever have any sort of thoughts or questions they want to share. And then lastly, I want to ensure that meetings can run as smoothly as they can, and I want to make sure that people can be heard and aren't talking over each other. Like Becky had mentioned, it's hard to hear over the hall, lots of people are talking at the same time. So if anyone in the public ever wishes to share something or ask a question outside of the guest and citizens forum, I ask that they raise their hands and I will recognize them to speak, either make a comment or ask any question. But that is it for me for now. Great, there's nothing for old business. New business 11.1, resolution 2025-002 to appoint boards, committees, and commissions, official depository, official newspaper, economic development authority, council, and EDA minutes, or meeting dates and times. Would you mind speaking to that a little bit?
Of course. So this is an annual reorganization resolution, and so annually, you declare your depositories, your signatories, the EDA, which is just the council members. You also set your meeting dates. They are on the first and fourth Monday, unless a holiday falls on that at 5:30. Holidays are marked with an asterisk across the schedules. I also entered in your regular public forums. They are at 5 o'clock prior to the last meeting of the month. Again, May 27th is a Tuesday instead of a Monday due to Memorial Day. Yes, Memorial Day is in May. Okay. And then the EDA is following the last council meeting if there's any business of the EDA. If there's no business, the EDA does not meet. Again, regular business to reorganize every single year.
I guess, yeah, the only thing on my end, Vice Mayor would be Sherry Graham. Are you open to that, Sherry?
Yes, I will accept that.
All right, yeah, just considering her past involvement as our mayor, she kind of knows the in and outs of the mayor's spot. So I chose her to be vice mayor. But if she accepts, Anything else that people want to talk through regarding this, and questions, comments? Hearing none, is there anybody that would like to make a motion to accept this?
I'll make that motion.
Is there anybody that would like to second that?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Moving on, 11.2, pay request number 4 from Main Grade Construction in the amount of $76,909.83 for the Quick Lakes Wellness and Recreation Center, aka Quick Lakes Building.
All right, that was a typo on my part, it's Max Grade Construction. And so this is for the wellness center. At the last council meeting where we did this, there was some questions about getting a percentage. There is a percentage on the second page of the pay app between columns I and J. 11.37% of the project has been completed, so I wanted to point that out to you.
What drives the billing? Is it just a monthly thing or?
It's your services rendered.
Yes, but I mean, are we getting regular bills on this or are they going to like a certain percentage completion of the project?
So you're billed for services rendered. So both materials already purchased and received, as well as the services they've performed between the last pay app and this
Okay.
pay app. Yep.
Any other comments or questions regarding this? None. Is there anybody that would like to make a motion to pay that?
I'll make the motion.
Is there anybody that would like to second that?
Well, second.
Second, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
When is this project supposed to be done by?
December 31st, 2025.
All right, moving on, 11.3, resolution 2025-003 regarding St. Louis County project on Kennedy Memorial Drive.
St. Louis County has requested that the council review the plans. Unfortunately, you do not have authority to change the plans, so they're asking for a resolution just indicating that you have received the plans and you looked at them, so.
Any comments, questions regarding it? You've been working with them, Kenny, the county and so far.
Yeah, that's what it is. For anyone who's not aware, the county did receive, they applied for and received a thing called a carbon footprint grant. And what that is for is to promote walking rather than driving. There's only certain things they can spend the grant on, which is the reason they are adding some sidewalks to the side of Kennedy Drive where we currently don't have sidewalks. As well as, ADA ramps, head ramps at every intersection on every crossing, crosswalks, street lighting. Currently, there are 16 street lights between Suffolk and Coventry. That will be increased to 19, because there's a regulation on how far apart in between each street light to have a well-lit walking area. So they are replacing all the street lights along Kennedy Drive on their dime, not ours. They will all be LED now, and they will be replacing all the underground conductors that feed those lights as well. So that was a good thing for me to hear because we are currently responsible for those. And, you know, having it all be new as part of this project without any cost to us, it's a bonus in my book. The trees that are all ribboned off along Kennedy Drive, the north side from the Lucky 7 to the community building entrance, those were scheduled to be taken down anyway, regardless of this grant, due to their proximity of the curb line, how close they are to the road. Along with this grant, however, they are allowed to plant trees along the walking path, so we will be losing 23 ash trees and receiving 20 maple trees in return. So basically the same amount of trees evenly spaced. all along that new sidewalk that's on that side of it.
Sounds like a good deal.
Yeah, and then there'll be sidewalks, across from here as well, on the north side of Kennedy. Again, sometimes I wonder why, but it's just part of what they're doing. And those will all have handicap head ramps, at every crossing along the shopping center entrances, credit union, et cetera. So there will be, sidewalk along that side, so people wanting to walk from one business to the other, et cetera. It'll all be ADA safe to go from the Lucky Center to the credit union.
Will they be up by the 3 fields too, like that stretch?
Yep, so there'll be sidewalk on the north side of the road from the hotel all the way to the EMS building. At the EMS building, then there will only be sidewalk on where there isn't currently sidewalk across from the churches, south side of the road all the way to the water tower, and from the water tower all the way to Coventry, where there are currently no sidewalks. And again, that's all on their dime.
Alright, with that, is there anybody that would like to make a motion to accept this resolution?
So moved.
We have a motion, is there anybody that would like to second it?
I'll second. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll second. Alrighty, we have a motion and a second, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None, motion carried. 11.4, 2025 committee assignment. You mind just chatting about this a little bit?
So annually, the city appoints various members of its council to different committees we have. I do believe that there are a couple changes that Mayor Scott would like on there. And then you will also probably be changing it again when you have another council member come on. So, for now, this is kind of be temporary, but it will lay out what your responsibilities will be.
Yeah, so yeah, I chose these, try to keep it as kind of spread out as much as I could, but knowing that we have, someone else jumping on soon, it'll kind of lessen the load on some of us. Try to keep it in kind of people's that I thought were kind of the wheelhouses, what they might be, have their strengths in. Also got input on what communities they wanted to be assigned to. So yeah, the only changes is, Councilor Travelog for the Eastern Region Park Board, Joe Ekman for the Golf Commission, and then me for the Southeast Hockey Board.
For the Tri-City Ambulance, there's a meeting on Thursday, so Dave, are you gonna be attending that? I know I was on the
What was
thread. There's a Tri-City Ambulance meeting on Thursday that I was on the thread to attend.
Next week. 23rd.
Sorry, next Thursday, not this Thursday. So I just wanted to, Mel will include him in the details. Okay, sure.
Okay.
But I think there'll be not a fair amount, but a few other things, so like Youth in Action, I haven't gotten any sort of updates from them. Yeah. I think they will come on. Or the email on to you if I get anything.
And if that's at Stacy Jefferson at the school. if
That's kind of why I thought you would
Last
be the
one I could
person
easily,
for that.
yeah.
For
Did you mention the golf committee?
Yeah, and so just we taking that over, we're doing the commission, our board and all these different. So, the board, but then all this is subject to change, and then we'll see who we pick and what their strengths might be, what things they might want to do, what we might not want to do. So yeah, it's a discussion for the future.
All of the Eastern Water Board then.
Yes, Eastern, Water Board.
We don't have, we're not a part of the agreement, so we don't have anyone to appoint to that.
Okay.
At such time as when we join the agreement, we will obviously have them pick up on that board and then we will appoint at that time.
Even though they might not be like a voting member, would it be open for if Councilor Jarvis wanted to, like, attending those?
Oh, of course, yep, I know Jake attends those meetings and so, it would be Wednesday at 4. And
Wednesday at 3, I think we're meeting with them.
yeah, that's with the engineer though, so Wednesday at 4 would be the board meeting. Or is it
Yeah,
5:30?
so,
We'll get you this time,
Okay.
on Wednesday.
So yeah, we won't officially appoint, Counselor Jarvala to the East Range Water Board because we're not officially a part of that and are voting members. But he's definitely free to attend those meetings to just get more information as we go along and ask questions and things like that.
Do we have like a list of like what day these meetings are, times, like a contact person?
So that kind of depends on the committee. So for example, the cemetery board, that's made up of city people. And so if they needed to call a meeting, City Hall would facilitate that. Some of the other meetings like, Youth in Action, we don't have any information for. And so, you know, it's difficult, you know, I don't know who does it. If it's Stacy at the school. So if you have questions about your committees, you can let me know and I can help you figure out who to go to. But for the most part, the committees are on the calendar in that green book form, June 2025.
Yeah, the Youth in Action, they don't meet like every Thursday of every month, it's more like when they schedule it. And when I first got assigned to it, I had to reach out to Counselor Pop at the time to figure out like who my contact person is and things like that. So I think there's a decent amount of that goes on too. But yeah, if you have any sort of questions, regarding who your contact person is, just reaching out to City Hall. to
Yep.
see.
If I can help figure out
4:30.
4:30. And that's at, Aurora City Hall, the East Range Joint Water Board project.
On Wednesday?
yeah, every third Wednesday.
All right, any other comments or questions regarding this? Hearing none, would anybody like to make a motion to adopt these assignments? So moved. We have motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. 11.5, resolution 2025-004, donation to the White Lakes Public Library. Would you mind speaking to that a little bit?
The White Lakes Chamber of Commerce has donated $500 towards library programming. And so, as required by state statute, we have to accept all donations through the city council. And so we are doing that now.
All right, thank you to them for that. Any comments or questions? None. Would anybody like to make a motion to accept that donation?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion in a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Moving on to 11.6, resolution 2025-005, donation to the city of White Lakes for League of Minnesota Cities Leaders Institute.
So we received a donation, Mayor Scott has donated to cover his time at the League of Minnesota Cities Institute, Leadership Institute in February, in the amount of $712, and as required by statute, we accept all donations through city council.
All right, I will abstain from that, but is there anybody that has any comments or questions? None. Would anybody like to make a motion to accept the donation?
I'll make that motion.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Moving on to the final item, 11.7, request to write off utility account 1013, blah, 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 blah.
So when we have someone move out of town, we attempt to collect the bill, for as long as possible. This person moved out in September of 2024, it's $52.72. We've definitely spent more than $52.72 of staff time, trying to chase this down. So we are requesting that the city council write off this final bill.
And this has been common practice for us for a while. But does anybody have any comments or questions?
Was this a rental property or
No, it was
Yeah.
owned.
it was owned and
Yeah.
occupied? Nobody had any idea where they went.
We never do.
Alrighty.
Yeah, being that it's a small amount, and like you said, we've tried contacting them, and how long are you gonna chase $52? Yeah, I would make a motion to write that out.
We have a motion to write that off. Is there a second? to accept that?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. That was it for tonight. I will take a motion for adjournment.
Make that motion.
We have a motion. Is there anybody that would like to second that motion?
So moved.
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.